everyone, welcome back. My name is Gina and this is my first ever full garden tour for June of 2026. Today we are starting out at my in-ground plot, which is kind of like my Three Sisters garden. It's still a little bit of a work in progress. This is my first year doing an in-ground garden, so I'm really excited about it and I'll show you what we've got going on. Starting on this very outside row, I have one singular eggplant, a few little marigolds, and then onions that I started by seed. Let me see if I can get over there, which are, where is one? They were very little when I brought them out just because I got such a late start, but here they are. They seem to be doing okay. They're standing up. I've got a couple. This whole row has about 50 maybe. Next row here is popcorn. So I didn't have super great luck germinating popcorn. A lot of them did not come up, but I have a few that look really good. So I have some popcorns here and here. And then in the middle, just today I planted some Great Northern beans in this middle part. And then over in this middle part of my popcorn, I planted kidney beans. This is the squash part of my Three Sisters. So I have 1 and 2 butternut squashes and an acorn. And then down here earlier today, I just planted some sweet corn. So I'm excited for those to come up. Should be nice here, good sweet corn, good corn weather, really nice, warm and humid. So that is what I have going on in my Three Sisters garden. Let's take a look at my raised garden beds at my house. My camera tipping over here is exactly how the second half of this garden tour went. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but my microphone either died or became disconnected, so there was no audio, so we were doing a voiceover for this. This first garden bed here is mainly my tomato bed. So I have 2 different kinds of tomatoes. I have a determinant paste tomato, so I have Plum Regal and Romas, and then I have indeterminate slicing tomatoes, which are beefsteak and pink brandywine. In between all of my tomatoes, I have some carrots just to help kind of loosen up the roots. I heard that was a good companion plant. At the front of the bed, I tried to grow beets this year, but none of them germinated or came up. I also have onions lining the bed along with a marigold. Down here, growing up this little trellis, I have cucumbers. So I have 1 quick snack cucumber, which makes these little cute cucumbers that I plan on pickling whole. They just get to be a couple inches. And then the other 2 are Boston pickling cucumbers as well. Along the back, I have pole beans that are going to grow up the cattle panel trellis that I have. Here, I'm just kind of mentioning like my favorite thing about my garden so far this year was one morning I came out just to inspect the garden, look at everything. None of my beans had germinated. Everything was still under the straw, not to be seen. And then later that evening when I came out, all of them had germinated and they were at least already an inch or 2 tall. It's just so fun and I love being able to spend time and watch all my plants grow. This second raised bed is mainly peppers. I have a few bell peppers in the front. I'm doing an experiment. I've never had really good luck growing bell peppers, so I'm doing some King of the North bell peppers. I'm hoping that because they're a northern variety, I get better peppers. I've got a nasturtium, and then for hot peppers, I have banana peppers, jalapenos, and a cayenne. In between the peppers, I have some radishes. Those have all been pulled out now and turned into pickles. I've never grown a radish before, but I've had really a fun time experimenting. I've roasted them, eaten them raw, and pickled them. I have 2 heads of lettuce here. This is Tom Thumb lettuce. It can be grown either as a head lettuce like this, or you can plant a bunch of them and kind of cut it early as like a loose leaf lettuce. But I did plant 3 of them, and one of them did not survive one of our late frosts. I've also got some dill in this bed, some parsley, you'll see that later on, and some basil. Some of my parsley, this little guy was struggling. He did not like being transplanted, but this one over here is doing really well. And of course you can see I've got onions along the border. These are grown from sets. My original plan was to do all my onions from seed. The first batch did not survive well, so these are sets. I'm hoping they grow a little bit. I'm not sure how they'll do, but these are sugar snap peas. It is like a full-time job training these to grow up the trellis, and we finally have some little blooms, so I'm hoping for peas soon. These are just like my little favorite garden snack, and none of them usually even make it in the house. They all get munched on in the garden. I'm also growing a loofah gourd, hoping to dry it out and make some sponges. You can see we have a couple little baby loofahs already. This is the newest addition to my raised bed garden. It was originally going to be a broccoli bed. Unfortunately, only one of my broccolis survived there, but I also interplanted with, of course, some onions because I had so many, a basil. And then over here, this is a patty pan squash. It's in the summer squash family, so it's like a zucchini. It's supposed to be much more resistant to vine borers, powdery mildew, and a lot of other things that zucchini tends to come down with. So I'm hoping that this patty pan squash does well. And the squash themselves are so cute. They're like little circle scalloped edge squashes. They look really cute. So I'm excited for this. Over here in this grow bag, I have another eggplant. It seems to be doing really well. This is another thing I have never grown before. I've also never eaten before, but it just looks so good, and purple is my favorite color, so I had to give it a try. Doubling back to take a look at the cute little pup. Always have to look at a suntan and pup. Here I have another loofah gourd. This one definitely got a little bit of sunburn when I was hardening them off, but it seemed to have bounced back pretty nicely. In this other little grow bag, I have a sugar baby watermelon. I've never grown watermelon again. This whole year is just growing a bunch of new things, experimenting, seeing how it goes. Here I'm talking about how I've really enjoyed using the straw mulch, especially in grow bags, to keep them nice and moist. Grow bags tend to dry out pretty fast. Under these wire cloches along our little shed, I have 2 raspberries that I planted last fall. Ignore all the weeds. I need to get out here and weed everything. But they are covered because every time they would put on some new growth, the bunnies would just come absolutely decimate them. It was terrible. So I was doing what I could to keep them protected so they could grow a little bit at least. And our final stop on the garden tour is my little kale and strawberry patch. I tried to grow a strawberry patch last year. Unfortunately, the strawberries were bare roots from Walmart and they did not grow, and this bed was completely overrun with weeds. So this year I redeemed myself. I bought some really nice bare root strawberries from Johnny's. These are a June bearing variety called Sparkle, so they will put on all of their fruit in one big flush and then they'll just be done for the year. I also planted some kale in here along with 2 purple cauliflowers. The purple cauliflower did not survive, but my kale is looking really good, and it seems to be going well. I'm not even sure what I'm rambling on about here, to be honest. Here's a closer up look. You can see my kale is a little wilty. It's been really hot and dry the beginning of June, so obviously everything needs a good water. We even got some little baby blooms on our strawberries that I was not expecting this year. I thought for sure we would go a year without anything. And then I also have a marigold in this bed. I tried to put marigolds in all of my beds if I can. They're just so beautiful. I love them so much. Well, if you are still watching, thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I promise I will do much better next time. But I hope you enjoyed this garden tour. There will be much more.